for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio for the masses. Yeah. All right. Today's Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019. 2 days into the new year. Just 363 days left. That's right. And as always, we are live from a bunker right in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. That's right. Now I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? It's 2019, our first broadcast of the year. Unbelievable. You know, I do that countdown. Been doing it for years and years. I do the countdown at the front of every show. And here we are, 6 years in now, right? This is our sixth year of doing that countdown. And it seems like when we do this show, the show that we're doing now, right, the first show of the year, you start off with that count, right, 2 days into the new year, 363 days left. It seems like, woo, man, we've got forever. But eventually we get there, don't we? We did it this weekend, and we now have a reset. We are now into 2019, and our first show of 2019 features tonight's guest, Laura Eisenhower, is here. That's right. We've got a great show lined up tonight. And I am going to do tonight, and I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit. And I hit Laura with this a little bit ago. I'm going to do tonight our Laura Eisenhower Top 10. That's right. The Awakening Top 10 is going to happen tonight. And we're going to go from 10 to 1 and get her response on each one. And it's going to be very, very, very cool. So that's what we're doing tonight. And, we've got to, this being the first show of the year, that we are going to take a quick look at the year that was, 2018, from an awakening standpoint and discuss that with Laura. And what do the charts say, the awakening for 2019? And there's nobody better than Laura Eisenhower to kick off our year. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Tomorrow night is Open Lines, Fader Night, and Teresa Yannaris is going to be here with Divine Frequency on the airwaves. Friday, I am taking off, and then Saturday, I am over at Coast to Coast AM, where my guests will be Tyler Glockner and Chad Kalick. So that is a huge show over on Coast to Coast. Now, with Tyler. We will be discussing Tyler and Secure Team. And this is his first interview ever was here on Fade to Black. And his next interview, number 2, man, he's gone back to back, will be Coast to Coast AM. And so the Coast to Coast audience, if they've never checked out Secure Team or heard of Tyler Glockner, they certainly will on Saturday night. And then there are those at Coast that don't listen to Fade to Black, don't have the time. They only listen to Coast, so they haven't heard Tyler speak before. And then there are those that obviously listen to both shows. And so we should have a pretty good blend of everything with Tyler. And then Saturday, Chad Kalick is going to be with me. And Chad, his movie, Sir No Face, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Chad and I sort of did this on the live stream from the Rainbow. The apparition, the body, the full body that was caught on video in Sir No Face is could be, and when you take a second look at it and you go back and you take a look, it could be a gray. Yeah. And I thought that from the beginning, the first time that I saw it. So that's going to be really, really interesting. And so Chad's going to talk about that and his new film and what this apparition is and some of the things that have been going on in the background with this apparition. And I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like a ghost to me. It looks ET-ish. So what is it and so forth? We'll be talking about all of that for the first time on Coast to Coast on Saturday. And then, of course, Monday, we'll kick off our first full week of Fade to Black in 2019. All right, now you can follow us over at OnStellar, onstellar.com. Send me a friend request. Get registered over there. There's Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow me there. Facebook is Jimmy Church Radio over on Facebook. And, of course, YouTube, and you can follow, like, and subscribe right now over at jimmychurchradio.com. We're getting ready to launch our new website, which is technically ready. We're going to tighten down a few screws, and over the next couple of days, we will launch our new website. It looks great. And it's going to make life a whole lot easier for everybody. And, plus it's really fun to look at, too, as well. So that is kicking off the new year as well. So I'm really looking forward to 2019. Thank you to everybody for making 2018 a great success, not only for Fade to Black, but this community of ours here. What a family, and thank you, all of you. Now, Rita and I spent the weekend out in Las Vegas. I did my very first Facebook live feed, whatever they call that, live streaming or whatever they call that on Facebook. I've never done it before. And Rita goes, okay, this is how you do it. She set it up, and we did it. And that was really cool because we did that live at midnight. We were at the Venetian and from the 31st floor, and we watched the fireworks from up there. Pretty incredible. But the point of me even mentioning that is it's the first year that we have spent outside of Los Angeles for New Year's. We always spend it here in town with friends and family. And we did it there in Las Vegas, and it was really fun. I'll do it again. It was cool. Las Vegas was packed. Oh, man. But it was just so much fun, and it was a great time and a chance for Rita and I to get away and just, oh, man, not think about things for a little bit. And it was really, really cool. So here we are. We are back today. This is our first show, and I'm excited. I'm excited for 2019. You can also email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Any questions or comments, do it right there. And I've got to send out a quick text here. Hold on. I got to do this live. It's actually a little bit of an emergency. Oh, man, this is funny. This is funny. It's not a real emergency. It's a response to what is going on my screen right now. All right. Okay. Where am I at? Breaking news. Let's just get to that right now. Today, very sad to report, but Daryl Dragon, that's right, the captain of Captain and Tennille, died today at the age of 76. Unbelievable. And right on the heels of that, while I was watching Muskrat Love and Love Will Keep Us Together, I was watching all these old videos and reminiscing and thinking about, this is no joke. When I was a kid, and I suppose those songs were all hits in like 1974, 1973, right in there, 74, riding around in my parents' car in the back seat on the radio, Love Will Keep Us Together was on every 5 minutes on every radio station in America, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was a huge, huge hit. And Captain and Tennille, and Daryl Dragon today passed away at the age of 76. And while I was watching all of those videos, right as that announcement came out, then this hit the press. Bob Einstein, also known as Super Dave Osborne, he passed away today. And he, too, was 76 years old. Unbelievable. And it just goes back to my childhood. Super Dave Osborne, for me, made me laugh so hard. I thought he was so original and so whack and such a cool guy and just very, very funny. And his attitude and his voice and his tone, he just made me laugh. And what a great character, Super Dave Osborne. And he passed away today, 76 years old. Unbelievable. Really funny on Curb Your Enthusiasm, too, as well. Very, very, very funny guy. Bob Einstein passed away today at the age of 76. And the other breaking news, well, partial government shutdown is still on. We shall see. Tomorrow we have a new House of Representatives, a new Congress tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get the government back open. I don't want to see anybody without paychecks. Not at the first of the year. I don't want to see it ever, but not right now. That is just not cool. Not furloughed, not working without pay. I don't want to hear about any of that. People have rent and mortgages and children to feed, electric bills. It's wintertime. It is crazy that this has gone on for any length of time. I blame everybody. So it's just wrong. It's just, I just blame everybody. So anyway, that's still going on, but I expect it to be resolved by the weekend. I really do. That's what I think is going to happen. All right. With that, come join us for the 2019 Conscious Life Expo right here in Los Angeles, California at the LAX Hilton, February 22nd through February 25th. This year we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken. And I will be hosting the panel with Eric on Friday night with Linda Moulton Howe, Jason Martell, Billy Carson, Rabbi Ariel Bar Zadok, but without David Wilcock. Yeah, there you go. George Norrie, Nassim Haramain, Robert Schock, Daniel Brinkley, Grant Cameron, Julia Mossbridge, and another 50 speakers will be presenting at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo. Come and hang out with us. ConsciousLifeExpo.com for tickets and a full conference schedule, or you can just click on the banner over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. All right. Hey, I've been talking about Bitcoin all of 2018, the big 2018 crash and burn. And today, right before the show, it is now floating around 3,800 ducks in the pond. Just 2 days into the new year, it didn't swing anywhere. Think about that. $3,800. What's going to happen with Bitcoin? Don't know. Let's see. It's a new year. I'm still sticking with my original prediction. It's going to be $10, $100, or $1,000. That's it. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those. Not 3,800, not 7,600, not 19,000. Not going to do any of that. Needs to just settle in. And that's my prediction, and I'm still sticking to it. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. It is just $2 per month. That's right, $2 per month for a podcast with custom apps, full archives, over 950 archive shows, over 970 archive shows, soon to be 1,000 archive shows for just $2 per month. Click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. And while you are there, continue to support the show. Become a Fadernaut over in our membership section on the site, where if you become a game changer, you can get autographed T-shirt, hat, right? You can get commercial-free downloadable archives, commercial-free, all just mastered really nice, too, by the way. Get that. You get a private email to me. You get the bunker cam. Get all of that, right? Become a Fadernaut. Help support the show over in our membership section on the site. Don't forget to visit all of our sponsors here. Click on their banners at jimmychurchradio.com. With that, let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Dax Shepard is 43. And I started to think about this. Here you got, Dax. Think about this. Let's Go to Prison. That's a really, really good movie. Zathura, right? He plays the astronaut in Zathura. And then you have Idiocracy. 3 great movies, right? And for Dax, that's it, right? You can pretty much stop right there. He does a lot of work and everything, but those 3 movies, those are 3 great movies. Which one? Which is the best? And I know you're probably leaning on Idiocracy. I understand that, but you need to check out Zathura. That's a great movie. But then there's Let's Go to Prison. Happy birthday, Dax Shepard. Also today, Tia Carrera is 51, and she'll always make the list because of Wayne's World. And I know you thought I was going to say True Lies. No. Wayne's World. She played the lead singer. What was her name in that? Cassandra? Was that it? Cassandra? Cleopatra? Tia Carrera today is 51 years old. On this day in history, OTD. 1974, Richard Nixon signs the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit into law. That's right. Changed everything on this day in 1974. Fader fact. The most expensive thing ever built was and is, wait for it. I should almost put that up on Twitter. You know what? I'm going to hold off on that. Show me in Twitter, and don't Google it. Don't Google it. What's the most expensive thing ever built? The most expensive thing ever built. Let's see who can pop that up in Twitter first. I'm watching. I'll come back to that. Tonight, our guest is Laura Eisenhower. Tomorrow night, it's our first Fader night of the year, and Teresa Yannaris is going to be here with Divine Frequency on the airwaves, followed by Open Lines all night long. And you know what we're going to do there? It's my conversations with you. It's my favorite night of the week, and it'll be our first Fader night in 2019. Now, as I wait for somebody to, let's see, one of the Dubai buildings. That's a pretty good guess, Dick, but that's not right. Three Gorges Dam. No, that's also a very great guess, and that's from Large Hadron Collider. Nope. Also a very good guess. Randy, that's pretty good. The Three Gorges Dam. Yeah, LHC, a couple of those coming in. No. International Space Station comes in correct. And that Interstate 90. That was good. It is the ISS, the International Space Station. The International Space Station. No, it's not CERN. No. International Space Station. At over 150 billion ducks quacking in the pond and counting, by the way. That's right. It's the International Space Station. All right. Well, 2018 started off with great promise. And back in January of 2018, and if you think about it, and you go back and think about it, we all, including myself, were all calling it the days of disclosure. And the future looked bright, didn't it? Indeed. But as the year rolled on, one wheel after another fell off of the To the Stars Academy train. And by New Year's Eve 2018, well, it became very apparent that, well, there's going to be no real disclosure for us in 2018. It didn't happen. Throughout the year, it seemed that there was one controversy after another on all fronts. And with TTSA, there were the mistakes, both with the video releases and images and with some public statements that were completely incorrect and misleading, if not out and out, just wrong. And then we had their financial disclosures that dulled whatever shine that they had at the beginning of the year. And if you think about it, To the Stars Academy, TTSA wasted 12 months. And it's 12 months that I'm sure they want back. No time machine. Better use some of that alien technology that they've got. But no time machine, you can't go back. 12 months wasted. And then there were the Nazca mummies, a story that still hasn't been resolved. The science seems to be strong, and it just may be that it's the biggest story in all of history, but we are forced into waiting for more data to be released. And that's where we are with the Nazca mummies. But that happened in 2018. And also back at the beginning of the year, Art Bell passed away from an overdose on April 13th, a Friday, by the way. Dave Schrader leaving Coast to Coast AM to host Midnight in the Desert. MITD, Art's last foray into radio. And that was national headlines, too, as well. And they were all pretty big national events that made it into the mainstream media. And I guess it's great for the community to have the stuff in the big headlines, but it's all really a great big downer if you think about it. TTSA, downer. Art Bell passing away, downer, right? Nazca mummies, national headline, a really big deal, but just, really, it's all just been a big downer. But the bright spots, right? The bright spots, well, we did have 3 film releases last year. 2 from Jeremy Corbell with The Hunt for Skinwalker and Bob Lazar and Flying Saucers. And we also had Above Majestic, directed by Roger Richard. And all 3 were released by The Orchard. And that was pretty cool, especially for this community. And at least that, if you look at it, 2018 was also the year, I have to say it, that David Wilcock in his letter to Gaia TV went public. And we still don't know who leaked it or why. So we have that, and it's not national news. It wasn't like that for this community. It was there for a minute, a little blip on the radar, and it's kind of just faded away. All right, so let's see what happens in 2019 with that. I doubt that it's really talked about a whole lot more. But for me, 2018 was the year for sightings. It was the year for strangeness. It was also the year for night watches. And it will always be the year of the daytime beer can at ECETI Ranch during the Soul Tech Conference. That was when I look back at 2018, it's not going to be Nazca. It's not going to be DeLong. It's just not, right? It's not going to be the movies. It's not going to be any of that. Not for me. It's that beer can up at ECETI, a daytime sighting that I cannot explain. Witnesses. That was my 2018. 2018 was far from boring. And it seemed that each week, every broadcast, something was going on. And it wasn't just the sightings, and it wasn't just the conspiracies, but there were natural disasters that were going on all year. We had fires. We had the fake news. We've had the craziest year of politics ever, and religion, nuts. We had Kim Fatty Fat in North Korea. Yeah. We had, of course, Bitcoin. We had Russia. We had China, Syria. But the really good news, I'm not kidding, The best part of 2018, besides my beer can up at Isetti Ranch, which was real, are you ready? Was the announcement of Project Blue Book on the History Channel. How about that? So at least we got that going for us, right? It's premiering this Tuesday. So you have to ask yourself, when you think about this, is this part of disclosure? Right? Think about that. We're talking about Project Blue Book, a drama, a miniseries on a major network. This is a really, really, really big deal. I'm excited about this series. And as I build up to the anticipation for this Tuesday night, and I know that we're all going to be watching it, I wish we could binge it. I wish there was a way to just get all, 12, 16 episodes all at once and just watch them back to back, because that's what I would do. But if you think about this, and as I build up for it, and I think about some of the TV series from earlier this year that premiered, that all had to deal with consciousness and disclosure and aliens and ET contact and parallel worlds, time travel. And they're all over the place right now. And if you want to go and see, I'll suggest a couple of things for you right now. And Rita and I, somebody asked me for a list earlier. Rita and I watched so much great programming this year. But there is one series out there that is a must watch, and it's called Counterpart. And if you haven't seen Counterpart, you need to check it out. I think it's Showtime, HBO, Showtime, one of the two. Go and watch it, and watch it from the beginning. And if this isn't part of disclosure, just like, and I'm serious about this, when you have series like Counterpart, and even Stranger Things, right? These huge releases. And then we have Project Blue Book. So there you go. I am very excited for 2018 or 2019. I'm very happy to have 2018 in our rear view mirror. As many good things has happened, there were quite a few low points in 2018 that I didn't particularly dig. And I'm just glad it's in my rear view mirror. All right, 2019 is going to be amazing. This is our first show of the year. I am your host, Jimmy Church. And tonight, to kick things off with all of us, is Laura Eisenhower. Can't think of anybody better, because there just isn't. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with Laura Eisenhower. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's a holiday season with hope in the air. Things to look forward to and no time for despair. Health can be a challenge, and so can the mail. So Get the Tea wants to help you by giving you a sale. Buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month for free. No limit. That's buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month free. That's a savings of $35. Where? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Scroll down on the front page and find the buy 2, get 1 free ad. Click it and save. Orders over $100 get free shipping. Send the gift of life. Change tea at GetTheTea.com. We have many non-GMO organic supplements just waiting for you. This holiday season, enjoy health and Thanksgiving with GetTheTea.com. Want to call us? 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. GetTheTea.com is a proud sponsor of doing what's right. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Laura. I believe it's at Laura Eisenhower. I do believe. Tonight is our first show of 2019, and we welcome Laura Eisenhower. We're going to take a little look back at the year that was and a genuine look forward into 2019. Last year, our community had major film releases. We had TV, books, individuals, and companies with major stories to tell from all sides. UFOs, contact, abductions, Egypt, space, time travel, lost history, and, of course, disclosure. Well, although a lot of progress was made, we now look towards 2019 as being the year that we can all start to have our questions answered. That's because tonight it's the Convergence of Awakening. Laura Eisenhower is a global alchemist, a cosmic mythologist, and intuitive astrologist. She is an internationally acclaimed speaker, as presented all over the world. Laura is the great-granddaughter of President Dwight David Eisenhower. She's one of the leading researchers on health and exopolitics, alchemy, metaphysics, ancient history. She works to free us from the 3D holographic time loop, false archonic systems, and the military-industrial complex with their hidden agendas, so we can take our power back. That's right. Her website is cosmicgaia.org. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black for our first show in 2019, the one and only Laura Eisenhower. Laura, good evening.
Hey, Jimmy. So great to be here, especially in the new year. Thank you so much for having me.
Did you have a good New Year?
Oh, totally.
What'd you do? I want the secret stuff. What'd you and Kevin do?
Out with my family, and all the secretive stuff comes to the surface when we all hang out, you know?
Man. I wish I could be there. One year, we got to spend a New Year's together, and we will. Maybe this year in 2019.
I would love to see that. I saw the invitation, and gosh, how was that New Year's and the Christmas window that you guys celebrated? I saw all the pictures. That was so cool.
Yeah, that was, you mean at the Rainbow or in Las Vegas? We did too.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah,
well, we did both, actually.
Yeah, both were great. We would have loved to have had the both of you at the Rainbow. That was great fun, to have, such a remarkable party at such a iconic, establishment like the Rainbow. For the Fadernauts, that was great. But spending New Year's Eve on the 31st floor of the Venetian, looking out down on top of fireworks, it's pretty epic. So
yeah, you guys held some amazing space for everyone. I really felt that, and I couldn't be there, but I was vibing on what you guys were creating. That was really cool.
It was a whole lot of fun. It was really cool, and it was something that I'll say this to anybody: if you get a chance to do New Year's in Las Vegas just once in your life, just go. Go and do it. That's a bucket list situation right there. Even to you and Kevin, which is as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list.
It's pretty fun. Now, here we go. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, and I did a little announcement at the beginning of the show that we're going to do the Convergence of Awakening top 10, and you have no idea what I'm going to throw out there at you. So we'll spend the evening doing that. We're going to go with number 10. We'll end the evening at number 1, and get your insight on all of this. But before we do, when we look back at 2018, I don't think that there's anybody in our community on any side of it, from ufology all the way over to the consciousness side and everything in between, that we're not going to forget 2018 anytime soon, are we?
No, I don't think so. There were so many planets in retrograde, and we can all take that with a grain of salt, but it's very interesting to feel the essence of something and then look at the biology behind it.
Right.
Yeah, and there's certain things that are factual enough that some people might say is woo-woo, but I mean, if you really step back and look at it, it's in alignment with astronomy. It's in alignment with all these different shifts and changes that are happening. And yeah, so what we experienced last year had a lot to do with going inward and wanting to move forward. So the friction that people felt was probably very noted. And
you felt it yourself personally too, as well.
Well, I'm riding along with it. It's yeah, I mean, how can you ever be immune? The only people that think they're immune to it are probably trying to cover it up and being like, oh yeah, well, we're observers, we're experiencers, we're researchers, and intuitivers, and creators, whatever, So
well put. Well, what about okay? And I can sum that up in agreement with 2018. There was a huge amount of attempted influence from so many. I'm talking about a corporate influence on a corporate level, a military influence, a political influence, a religious influence, individuals trying to influence the masses, and it doesn't matter where we come from each segment of our community. We saw this going on. Why do you think it is that there are so many that are quick to say that I'm right and you need to listen to me because I am the truth and you are wrong? And it doesn't matter if we're talking about parapsychology, if we're talking about remote viewing, if we're talking about lost history, if we're talking about ufology, awakening, consciousness. What do you think is happening there? They all can't be leaders and correct.
Exactly. Oh my God, thank you for bringing this up. Well, 2018 had a lot to do with retrogrades, And sometimes that's a really uncomfortable zone for people because they feel the need to prove something or win something or have their ideas override somebody else's because maybe they're insecure about how much they've invested it in a certain truth or way of being or whatever, they want to focus their life path on. I mean, it's sort of an identity crisis, 2018. And as we move into 2019, there's a lot more self-awareness that's more grounded. But at the same time, it's like the fundamental or foundational energy is really deep insecurity. But it's insecurity that's being mistaken for, oh, I'm lacking, I'm missing something, versus there's so much abundance connected to my consciousness that I feel insecure because I don't know how to access it. And what I feel is one of the dilemmas that we're currently facing is people are going into the lesser self and buying into something external versus I can still feel that sensation and trust myself enough to unfold into a greater form of self-awareness and abundance and creative energy that can steer the ship in the right direction. Insecurity is like being on the cusp of the old paradigm and new paradigm. And the way we interpret that sensation in our bodies is where the mind game comes in.
Right.
It's like, because, anytime anybody feels insecurity, they're like, oh, I don't want to be seen or, I'm not liked, versus the other form of it, which might stir a person into being like, who cares? I'm going to do it anyway. Because it hurts, it pushes me in that direction versus it's going to crush me and shut me down. And I just feel like the phase that we're in right now is more, how do we react to a vibration in our own being? And what are our choices versus something outside of us saying, this is where our future lies.
Well, what I find interesting with that is so many look to you, Laura, whether you want to accept it or not, is to be a pillar of strength and that you are absolutely unbreakable. But you're human like the rest of us, right? And we see you go through these experiences. And the truth is, if you crack, then we all can crack. And we don't need that. So we need you to very publicly work through this stuff too and show us, show us the path.
Well, I mean, I can't even believe you're saying this. It's like, I kind of live for that. It's like, I'm very transparent. My transparency, I feel, helps me to locate the places that are the antidote. It's like, if I can admit to the greatest level of pain and suffering and not completely buy into it to the point of being a victim to it, but you make fun of it or experience it or, call out certain aspects of it, I trust that there's got to be something coming in that will relieve it. And so sometimes I live like nobody's looking. And then I realize, oh my God, you post all this crap on Facebook and like, oh, well, maybe I should, I don't know. I mean, I feel relatability that helps me to realize that I'm a student to my friends and family. And if I can be transparent to it, maybe I can mix that with my own authentic self and what I'm struggling with and what I'm willing to admit to and turn it into, something that could perhaps give us all permission to just be ourselves and appreciate one another. Anything else hurts my heart. And if I were to be like that to somebody, I can't sleep at night. I'm like, oh shit, oops. I told you.
Number one just happened. Okay. Hold on. Somebody just won a bet on Twitter when you were going to drop your first bomb. All right. She did that 14 minutes into the show, everybody. Somebody said it's going to happen within 15 minutes. Oh, Laura, what are we going to do with you? Oh, I wanted to say this. I'm glad I didn't forget. I'm watching a video. This is the effect that you have on me personally. I swear you are going to crack up when I tell you this. So I'm watching this video. There's a band in the studio, famous band, and they're recording guitar tracks, right? And the guitar player finishes the solo, and the producer turns to him and goes, "Man, that sounds like that guitar player the elephant guy, Adrian Ballou, right? And he says it, and I didn't think of Adrian Ballou. I didn't even think of Milwaukee. You know what popped in my head? You and I, forget where we were sitting when we had our Adrian Ballou night. But yeah, never forget
it was out. I think it was San Mateo. And we had that champagne night, and we both realized you were doing it began with an M.
Yes. San Francisco. You're right. That's where it was. The champagne night. You are absolutely correct, in the lobby. And we had that 30-minute conversation about Adrian Ballou, and nobody else there knew what the heck we were talking about. That was a lot of fun. But anyway, back to this. Your effect and your words that you have on people can last, like Adrian Ballou, for instance. Are you conscious of that? Do you choose your words carefully?
No, I'm just willing to risk having everybody just not like me anymore. I can only be true to myself. I have no control over what anybody's going to make of it. Every once in a while, I'm like, okay, maybe that's just my own stuff that I'm processing. Maybe I can make it into something that other people can relate to. And I do consider all that stuff. What I love about Adrian Ballou, and it was the cats. I swear to God, I have such so I will email you later about the summer camp that they have with every member of the Adrian Ballou Band. They actually, the Memor, like it's almost like Mopar Performance, that vehicle. It's like, okay, so yeah, I don't notice that my words have that much effect, but the one thing that I can say that I feel grateful for is I feel very consistent with the things that I have worked with. I'm not like attached to it, but I see the value and I strive to have the highest integrity when I help to share that tool with others. And, I'm really hard on myself, so I don't think I'm looking at it through the lens of, oh, yeah, I've got all the answers. I'm more like, well, I feel like I can relate to everybody else's search for their answers while I kick my own ass and wonder, if I'm just doing okay on my own. I just think we could relate to each other a lot more on that level, but that's not like an arrogant thought form. I just think if we can just be real with ourselves.
Okay, whatever you're moving around, don't move it anymore. Okay? It's really loud. Laura, are you there?
My microphone.
Yeah. Don't move it. Okay, let's jump into our top 10. And I am going to start with number 10. We'll get to number 1. But as these are statements that you have made, Laura. And that's right. And I am going to, you'll know, and I'm going to go through each one. And then I want your response. Okay? So this will be the lead-in, and then I want your response. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Don't be all nervous. This is good stuff. Okay.
No, nervous.
Okay. Number 10. Embody your truth. And if somebody tries to take it away from you, guard it.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. I totally feel that way right now. Big time.
And?
I want to turn it up to 11 and say, can we just remember that? I want to remember that. That means a lot to me. It's like, where else are we going to go? I mean, geez, the prerequisite to unity consciousness is being sovereign. Know yourself. Be your unique, beautiful snowflake. No other snowflakes like you, but we're still snow.
Right. And when you say truth, because I think that's the key word here, right? Embody your truth. That's a powerful statement. And I want you to explain to everybody what you mean by that.
That you're not afraid to go through the processes that you need to feel better and to maintain or find balance. That you don't skip steps because you're trying to become what somebody else thinks you should be.
Right.
That you're just willing to feel into your emotional body, your anger, your whatever you feel called to do in this world. And it's like saying service to self in order to be in service to others, that you don't negate yourself for the sake of following something that seems good. You find out who you are so that you can be in greater service, which is a huge difference. You know, some people think you need to follow this to be doing something good in the world, but I think and I feel that you got to locate what it means to be you, and you'll make way more of a difference than thinking that you need to do this or that because of some guilt picture or, you know, belief system. We can't really help anyone if we don't know what it's going to take to feel better in this world. And it doesn't mean it's selfish. The only selfish part is when we're denied that and we feel so depleted that we act out and become a total schmuck and parasite. And we can avoid that. And we got to look at how we can avoid becoming that, because it's becoming an epidemic.
The other thing that I find interesting, if you look around us at any great artist or poet or writer, not even creative, it could be scientific or anything else, you know, but somebody that stepped out of line and was outside of the box from what people expect from them. The total, you know, somebody that has found themselves and are free. It could be in their dress and their clothing, or like Prince, right? And somebody wants to tell, you know, Prince, you know what, dude, man, you're too strange, or you're too this, or you're too that. And somebody listened, and if Prince listened, we wouldn't have Prince. Or we wouldn't have these great artists or thinkers or writers, not only in New Age or conspiracy, but anywhere. And that's the part where if you are doing your thing, just do it. Don't let anybody change you, because we can't all be the same thing, can we?
No, and that is not a goal.
Right.
I can't even believe you're saying this, because our uniqueness, our authenticity is the prerequisite for connecting into the unified field, which people mistake for being the same. And it's different versions of a new world order based in some different agenda, which is all like, that's not going to work. The thing is, the best musicians are the ones that had a resonance with our soul, but were so unique and so amazing that they remind people to do the same. It's like, we don't all want to be the same. And anybody that thinks that's a solution, I don't think they understand the unified field. So things like New World Order are almost mimicking the whole concept of unity consciousness by being like, we all have to be the same. So we're going to create this mind control thing so that everybody adopts this belief system and becomes in a trance. Whereas the animal kingdom, nature, the ecosystems that we notice around us are diversity and harmony. They uphold oxygen, carbon dioxide, the greenhouse effect, whatever you want to call it. Their diversity is what makes things thrive. It's what brings in the life force of creation. And as humans, we need to understand that about each other. And everything and every example that you just said is just like completely right on. And that's why people like you and me, like Adrian Blue, it's like, you can't get more genius. I mean, you can, but once you land in genius, you can't be better or less than. Once you're in the field of genius, you're just like, oh my God. And at the same time, there's a likeness, there's a resonance, it's healing, it's familiar. Even if it's completely wacky, it's like, it's still familiar. It's like, or if it's not, you know, maybe that's a reason to do some inner work and just dig a little deeper, because it's not threatening. Being yourself shouldn't be threatening. You know, what's threatening is when people are still playing these race wars and these blames and games based on historical resentments because of different world wars that were false flags to begin with.
Right.
And it creates division, and nobody can appreciate uniqueness without feeling like, oh, well, you know, if you do this, it's that, it's racist. And I got attacks lately, and I'm like, wow, you know, not to be somebody that holds huge expectations. It was a little shocking, particularly in this era. You know,
I
like,
was
really?
I was watching a TV series last night. When we come back after this break, we'll get to number 9. But I was watching this web series. It's on TV now on Netflix. I'm watching it last night, and one of the comments. I'm not going to say what the series was or anything. It's not that big of a deal. But this was a 2018 brand new series about current events, and the host of the show said to somebody, made this comment, and the person commented back, "Look, man, I'm not going anywhere near religion or politics because the world is completely divided right now, and I'm not going to contribute to the divisiveness." And to have that on a comedy show, right? It says it all in that I'm not the only one. You are not the only one recognizing what is going down right now. It is absolutely nuts. The divisiveness. And I thought that we were supposed to be working away from that. We all, remember the 60s and what people did to fight for these rights and these freedoms. And it seems like there's agendas out there right now, Laura, that are trying to force us back in time.
Yep, exactly. Oh my God, that's so well put. Exactly what I've been noticing. It's like, why are we dredging this up? It's like trying to create a divorce because of what your ex did to you.
Right.
When you're in a perfectly better situation.
It is so obvious to me. And I'm just happy to have others out there recognizing it. That I think we're going to pump the brakes on this real quick and go, look, okay, with this what we're doing right here, right now, this needs to stop. This is not, there was nothing positive on the other side of this fence. We can't continue.
It's up to us to decide that. That's the thing. Everybody's waiting for something outside of them to, create that shift. But they have to take the initiative to even begin to see it.
And we're right there, too. And this is the thing, Laura. We can all sense it. We can all reach out and touch it. We can feel these forces. I mean, it's all over the media. It's all over the news. It's all over the internet. It's all over social media and forums. People recognize it. People see it. People participate. And we all recognize what is going on. And I think it is gone about as far as it can go. And in 2019, we have to reverse the trend. We don't have a choice.
Right. I see it like, when you spin, when you're on a swing and you spiral in those directions where you're like, I'm just going to keep spinning in this direction. And then there's nowhere left it can swing except for unwinding and just being like, woo. And if people aren't picking up on needing to diffuse the mind control and BS that has been, we've all been subjected to, if you're not reaching that place of tension and not blaming it on yourself for having some anxiety issue you need to get medicated for, and seeing that maybe you're sensitive to all the lies and destruction of the human spirit and soul that's asking you to digress. If you can't turn that swing on your own back around and recognize the truth, then somebody's going to lock you up in that tension and create a facade that will separate you further from your soul. And that's what transhumanism is. And that's what artificial timelines are working to produce.
I need to take a break right here, but you know what's funny about that comment about the swing is when you get it all wound up to the top, right, and you reach the maximum, the funnest part is unwinding. So maybe we can unwind and have some fun. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, first show of 2019, Laura Eisenhower. When we come back, we're going to get to number 9 on the top 10, and we'll continue from there. It's Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Come join us for the 2019 Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton. This year, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken, and I'll be hosting the panel with Eric, Linda Moulton Howe, Jason Martell, Billy Carson, and David Wilcock. Join George Norrie, Nassim Haramein, Robert Schock, Damian Brinkley, Grant Cameron, Julia Mossbridge, Teresa Yannaris, and another 50 speakers who will be presenting at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo. Just go to ConsciousLifeExpo.com for tickets and a full conference schedule, or click on the CLE banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with, you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Julian. You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our first show of 2019. Tonight, our guest, it has to be, it's Laura Eisenhower. We're doing our Laura Eisenhower top 10. And Laura, we're on number 9 now. You ready to keep this going?
Yeah, and I won't jump in because, gosh, if we're only on number 9.
No, you need to you do your thing. We have plenty of time. Okay?
Oh, cool.
Okay, here we go with number 9. I can't wait to hear your response to this. You know how to be yourself more than anyone else, and they should never try to do it for you.
I do remember posting that. Yeah. It's like, you know how people are like, well, you should do it this way. Well, maybe you should do this. It's like, well, maybe I know what is the best idea because I'm occupying my physical body. Thanks for the advice, but maybe you could say it's just a general piece of advice instead of thinking that you can be somebody else's radar as far as what works. I mean, I just don't dig that.
Why do people dispense with that advice all the time? I mean, it's like, what if I turned it around on you? Not you, Laura, but I mean, people dispense that advice to me all the time. And it would be like me turning around and going, well, man, maybe you should think about being a better blah, blah, blah. And that wouldn't sound right, but yet others will dispense with that, and they think it sounds right until they hear it directed back at them.
I think there are different species within the oneness of it all, and it's not going to necessarily resonate. And I think it's almost one of the tests and tribulations of being in this human realm and being able to look at it and be like, thanks, but no thanks, instead of, not maybe taking it fully personally. Sometimes I personally take it personally. I take it personally. It's like, I think I know how to be me better than you know how to be me. Thanks for your whatever. But they might think that they have something to show the human race. Maybe they're like, whoa, I'm just this hybrid or alien race that has come to help host the ascension timeline. And then it's like even more of a reason to stand for your sovereignty. I'd rather fall on my face 100 times and have some other thing tell me how to be me. Okay, we can move on to the next one.
No, we can't. Absolutely not. Let me tell you why. Imagine for a second, and I'm talking to the audience, imagine for a second that if somebody like David Icke listened to those that told him he needed to be different, or Richard Dolan, or Linda Moulton Howe, or David Wilcock, right? It just pick somebody in our community that is unique and is unchanging. Right? And that's what makes them so successful. Or you know what? How about Cyndi Lauper? I think I mentioned her name earlier, right? Cyndi, a free space. You cannot listen to others that, you know yourself. Nobody knows you better than that.
Right. And how I think of it is you can look at another snowflake and say, wow, you're the only snowflake like this that can ever exist. Because what we've been taught, same with fingerprints, why is it like down to the uniqueness, taking a print of something? And anybody could repeat this and maybe try and disprove it or prove it, but every snowflake is different. Same with every fingerprint, or they wouldn't use that as a form of identification.
Right.
But the thing is, the uniqueness of a snowflake is still snow, right? So that's the unified oneness that we all hold. But if we can't appreciate our uniqueness, then we have no business trying to be in oneness, because that would be sameness, and that's New World Order BS.
And it sounds so easy, right? So fundamental, but it's really the bottom line here. You know, that being ourselves. Laura, I've spent a lot of time with you, Rita and I, and we spent a lot of time together. And one of the things that I can say, away from the crowds and away from all of that, I see with you the same things that I see in Rita or others around me, is your uniqueness, you know, and you are who you are, and you don't pretend to be anything else but that. And that's one thing that everybody can learn from you and others, right? Is just to be yourself.
Well, I mean, I think the at the end of the day, it's like a relief. It's like, gosh, if you're willing to do that and be thrown under the bus and attacked and criticized for it, maybe I can do that too. And it's not a huge stretch, because I think deep down, it's what we all want. And if we can say, you know what, all the flack that I get for this is not overpowering the beauty of just doing it because it needs to be done. And I've seen that with some amazing musicians, and I see that around me. And I just feel like a lot of people are in agreement to it, even if they don't realize it. I mean, we have so many layers to our being, our mental body, our emotional body, our egoic body, our spiritual and emotional selves. And we learn and get so much from each other without having to shove it in each other's face. I think when it turns into my way should be your way, it's like, wow, that sounded like a really good idea, but yeah, I don't want anything to do with you now, because that's like totally obnoxious.
Yeah,
I don't understand. If we just shine the light of authenticity, we give each other permission to be ourselves too. And it makes the things that are different about us actually really funny instead of offensive. So you'd be like, oh my God, that's so funny that you think of it this way, and I'm not offended by it, instead of being like, oh, serious. You know
what I see a lot lately now? It's not a tremendous amount, but I see it from those out there that are saying that they are awakened, that they are going to 5D, that they are, pick the word, right? That they're, it doesn't matter. But they turn around and they're passing judgment on other individuals. It's like, wait a minute, you can't have it both ways. You cannot, if you're going to pass judgment and you want to criticize others, then do that. But don't claim to be somebody that's on a spiritual path and somebody that is awakening. You can't be both.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying that. I was just like writing, I don't know if it was a weird poem or something that doesn't rhyme that you could call a poem. I was like, isn't it funny when narcissists talk about raising the vibration on the planet? But like, who am I to say, oh, you're a narcissist? But it's like, when you're pushing your agenda so much, like, you think you can call out other people and tell them what's real and what's not. I'm really advocating for what somebody else, okay, my whole world that I would like to stand for. It doesn't make me better or less than, but I at least can say on this show, the most important thing for me is for people to feel really connected to what their truth is. There's no truth that is more relevant than going through whatever process you need to go through to feel more connected with yourself. And then there's the truth that is more based on fact, like busting secret space programs and different technologies that have been hidden and things that one can say, hey, here's the documentation. So it's the merging of the right and left brain and all this integration of polarity. But if we don't let the imagination of others experience it as a reality, it's like telling an artist whatever you produced is a bunch of BS.
Right.
And a lot of people can appreciate it and say, wow, that's so abstract. That's so amazing. What's different with anybody's viewpoint of reality? I mean,
That's right. And their experiences, well, okay, so we're going to go on to number 8 now. But we cannot in any, it doesn't matter if it's hardcore science, Laura. I mean, a physicist or a scientist that's trying to repeat experiments and confirm an idea. Somebody that's thinking outside of the box, you tell them to stop using their imagination and stop questioning things, then science doesn't move forward. Archaeology doesn't move forward. Things don't move forward. You cannot. That's the whole point of everything. And imagination has everything to do with all of it, including our community. And that's the bottom line here. You cannot stop that. And as soon as we do, we just might as well just stop the planet. There's no reason to move forward.
Right. If we can't appreciate the artwork of others, and if we start to think that we have to convince others to see it the way we do, then we're being the controllers we're trying to fight.
Yes.
We can't be hypocrites. We cannot be a different version of the old paradigm we're trying to break through. We have to allow creative freedom. Laura, and say, that's your reality, fine. I will not take it away from you. Don't take it away from me. We can harmonize this, just like the ecosystem of nature, animals, elements, weather patterns, disregarding like weather modification and chemtrails the way it was supposed to be. And we have the upper hand. If we don't fall into that pit, we will change the paradigm. Those are lower assaults and frequencies that we don't have to adopt. If we do, then toxicity is going to overtake us. We're way more powerful than that.
Laura Eisenhower for president in 2020. Okay.
So sweet.
Number 8. We may see the collapse of a huge timeline that will reveal itself in end of the world scenarios. But you can't break or destroy the organic ascension timeline.
Well, okay, so a quick word on that. We have subpersonalities. We can be attaching ourselves to artificial intelligence signals, things from the media, propaganda, things that will infect our creative energy. When we are willing to be true to ourselves, we defy that. And our creative energy is like an inner GPS. I want to go here. You hold an intention. You hear your inner voice tell you when to turn right or left. But it's based on your intention, not buying into something external and being at the mercy of it, and then letting somebody else control your destiny. I mean, what is sovereignty? It's being a co-creator of what's organic and protecting yourself from being infected by the virus of propaganda and mind control.
Why is it that so many are susceptible to falling in line, to being a sheep, to mind control? Why is it that so many give in so easily when they know that they should fight it?
Well, we're born with amnesia, and there's ancestral patterns. There's agreements, healing agreements. Some come in to experience something that will negate them of their truth until they have a breakthrough and all of a sudden align with their truth, and then help other souls to rise like a phoenix out of, the conditioning and mind control. So it's very different for everybody, but just like many different forms of nature can reach the same goal, like, not to be all cliche, but you can have all these different creeks and rivers going into the ocean. I mean, I don't want to get all like cheesy nature metaphors, but deep down, we hold the seed of our expansion and blossoming of our own personal consciousness. And it's up to us to stay aligned with the things that nurture it and feed it and take care of it. And when something else infects it, it's just like a virus. And a lot of times we have to be exposed to it in order to get stronger, in order to, gain that sort of muscle based on going to like a spiritual boot camp. We can't just be in a bubble and expect that, we're just going to be shielded. But how can we leverage the exposure to the things that are trying to digress us? Can we turn the weapon into a tool for our empowerment? The minute we can turn weapons against us into a tool for our empowerment, we win the war. And we have to win it within, because it is a war on consciousness. We have to be willing to say, in the face of that, I don't submit. I'm going to choose myself. It doesn't mean I'm selfish, but it means I'm going to be authentic and appreciate the diversity of others, and then find a common place in the unified field 0-point energy.
Now, when you say we may see the collapse of a huge timeline that will reveal itself in end of the world scenarios, are you saying that as a metaphor, or are you saying that in a real world, like we need to take this word for word?
It's kind of both. I mean, I say stuff and I don't know what people are going to make of it, but I wouldn't probably post unless it was going to cover a lot of spectrums. In a lot of ways, we're dealing with a lot of threats about human extinction and this projection that the human race has done a lot of damage, and so the population needs to be thinned out, when in actual fact, the programmings, the dark agendas have limited us and almost enabled this expression that is being used against us. So we're being weaponized. So these forces are saying, oh, well, the human race hasn't figured it out. But they're the ones that created the programming and propaganda to keep us dumbed down. So it's the same kind of thing where a certain agenda is going to save the day, but they're the ones that created destruction to the environment and to our capacity to advance ourselves. And so there's a lot of trickery, but I think it's up to every individual to determine it, based on feeling into what your physical body is trying to tell you, because our physical body gives us a lot of signs and symptoms that we can, begin to understand by getting to the root of it. And, community energy is important as far as unity consciousness goes, but there's going to need to be a lot of one-on-one sort of more personal, family-based internal processes, to begin to separate ourselves, not in a separation, non-unity way, but separate ourselves from the harmful things that are going to exacerbate duality. So, I mean, I think
Kevin, we can tell Kevin we can hear him whispering. He's as loud as you are.
I'm sorry.
It's almost mysterious.
It's like, being loud.
Laura, this is what you will say next.
Oh, sorry.
We must build.
That's what he's saying. Oh my God, I can't. That's hilarious. See,
subliminal, buddy.
We must build an ark.
I'm out of here.
I'm messing with you, Kevin. We are going down our first show of 2019. We're going down my top 10 Laura Eisenhowerisms. And these statements have all been very, very profound. And to watch the community react to these individually, it's just been really fun to watch. And we just finished with number 8. I'm going to go to number 7, and we are starting to get into pretty heavy stuff. And by the time we get to number 1, we're going to have to try to slow Laura down, because it gets heavy, but yet they are so profound. And number 7 is this: there is no such thing as human extinction unless you give up your connection with your soul and alignment with spirit and earth. That's heavy stuff, Laura.
That sounds very heavy. Yeah, I remember reading that. And by the way, Kevin has been following me since 2011, and he's just sort of just like, yeah, I totally agree. And of course, he inspires me. So, he's not really writing the script, because you guys probably, anybody who's followed me for a while, I talk real fast and I just go based on what comes through. But I really encourage people to take what resonates and leave the rest. And based on what you just shared, give me a few reminders. That heaviness, right?
Yes. And see, look, there is no such thing as human extinction, right? To start off and then to end with, unless you give up your connection with your soul.
Well, that is extinction. I mean,
right.
We're eternal, infinite beings, and there is a massive matrix program that I feel is, because it's connected to Saturn, which some people could say, oh, that's Satan. Well, what is that really? If we can take away an entity and all the things that are associated with it, what does it really mean energetically for all of us? So the lowest level of it is control, submission, blockages. The highest level is teacher mastery. But the only way to get to the teacher mastery part is to go through all the trials and tribulations, which help us to see that we're not at the mercy of anything, and we are getting to a place where we can take the physical discomfort, even if it's physical, and gain some kind of understanding as far as how to evolve it. I mean, what is evolution? I mean, we have to be conduits of energies that are going to guide us forward. But the matrix program is in opposition to that. And it's going to conjure up a lot of fear in people, and the feeling like you have to give up a part of yourself. So human extinction is that giving up on the self, because most of the memes and propagandas are encouraging human extinction. But if we recognize ourselves as being beyond that, you're proving a point, and it's like a really genius, intelligent kid that's looking at the school system like, I'm sorry you're this limited, instead of being like, wow, I'm going to let this turn me even more isolated and crazy. I mean, it's like a dolphin telling a squirrel, what is wrong with you? Why do you have hair? Why do you have a tail? And what do you do, storing acorns? you're freaking nuts, right? No pun intended. But the animal kingdom doesn't do that to each other because it's so instinctual. If we could be true to ourselves, we're actually helping to create a healthy soul ecosystem. And that's why when people let go, they form bands, right? How did Pink Floyd come together? It's like, wow, you just hung out with the dude that played the bass and then you just, and then, yeah, there's an Illuminati component, but usually Illuminati works with artificial intelligence and it mimics what's organic and it replaces something and feeds it back to us so that we function with whatever's coming into us instead of what's coming from us. And 2019 better be that shift in being more self-aware because we're not at the mercy of all these doom and gloom things. I mean, I've read a lot lately that makes it look like 2019 is going to be horrible.
Yes.
It's not horrible as long as you're attaching to the outer drama because, yes, that might still exist. But it's the willingness to be entangled in it that makes or breaks suffering versus innovation and inventiveness and alchemy and solution-orientated awareness, and also the appreciation of tapping into that creative imagination, which we talked about earlier, the capacity to dream your way and draw your way and artistically lift yourself out of it. If we can take all the different compounds and, if we look at things like the periodical table or even astrology, these are all different things that we can be artists with. But we tend to let go and say, well, it's going to be dictated to me and I'm at the mercy of it. And whatever humanity's doing is something that we're stuck in. The thing is, we have to disassociate a little bit without getting too idealistic or assuming we're invincible. But there's a lot of tragedy in front of us. There's a lot of war that's going to intensify between Republican, Democrat, and all these different dualities and polarities.
Right.
It's not going to get any better. But the way we win the war is saying, I'm not going to get entangled with that. I'm going to find my own sense of personal balance in the face of it. It should remind us of what we need to do instead of make us feel like that's the timeline that we're on. We need to witness things that are discomforting and horrible and choose to not buy into it. And that's how we change it. That's how we inspire other souls to be in a whole different paradigm. But if we buy into it, it's like,
you know what I read today? We've got to take a break right here. I went through a list and compiled and went through the backgrounds on about 40, the number's around 40 since 1900 of different individuals that started their own religions around the world, and they all claim to be Jesus, right? Now, what is interesting about that? What is interesting is that each one of these individuals, and like 10 of them are still alive today, right, that have a religion, with a huge amount of followers. But the one thing that none of them said was that be yourself, be individuals, right? They never said they wanted to project their controlling desires on these groups. And they had large followings that were willing to give up their own individual freedoms. It was crazy to me that this continues, and you would think that we're getting smarter. But the trend continues, Laura, and I don't understand it.
Me neither. I mean, I noticed that. It's like, wow. I just thought we'd get more evolved. And it's not like freedom is in, oh, I'm just going to serve myself. I have all the freedom and rights in the world to oppress other people and destroy other people because I have freedom. Sovereignty is different than just being crazy, like I can exercise my free will. Sovereignty to me, I mean, this is just to me, is being a free being spiritually free, but also understanding the laws of integrity, the laws of balance,
right,
and things that help to create a better world without having to give up your own personal identity, creativity, viewpoints, process. In a world that I feel comfortable in, which isn't necessarily the world around me, except for when I talk to people like you, I'm like, phew, is like, why can't we just appreciate each other's uniqueness but also agree to some basic principles, integrity.
We will, and we're getting there, and that's why this show exists, and that's why you are here tonight. Our first show of 2019, our guest is Laura Eisenhower, and we're doing our Laura Eisenhower Top 10 Lauraisms. When we come back, we'll do number 6. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, our first show of 2019. And our guest is Laura Eisenhower. I've got some breaking news just released from AP about a minute ago. The press release came out 8 minutes ago. China's Chang'e 4 lander touched down on the dark side of the moon. Interesting, huh, Laura? Do you think that they'll broadcast any pictures of alien bases?
Gosh, well, you think they will? I don't know.
I know, pretty crazy, huh? Pretty crazy.
At this point, it's like...
You know, what I find amazing about it, before we get to your number 6, Laurism, is why haven't we landed, allegedly, right, on the dark side of the moon? And China got there first. And, it's largely unexplored, again, allegedly. But they're there. They're taking pictures. I want to see what's there. I really, really do. And this community will get to the bottom line. All right, let's go. Let's go to number 6. And here we go. Laura Eisenhower's Laura-isms. Number 6 is, you can't screw up true love. And you can't force something to be something that it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, if there's true love.
Okay, wait a minute. You have to say this in front of Kevin.
I keep telling him, will you just shut up already? It's like,
sorry, Jimmy.
Kevin, buckle up and don't say a word. Nope. Buckle up. Okay. So
I keep telling him to be quiet.
Okay, you can't screw up true love.
No, I don't think you can. I mean, what is true love? Is being able to go through the ups and downs without that whole, they say death to us part, through sickness and health. And yeah, that's a really great concept. And that's what a lot of people get married under the principle of. But there's nothing like it when it really is a genuine feeling that two people have instead of a contract they sign. So true love, whether you get married or not, has nothing to do with those contracts, even though those contracts are beautiful to make, especially if you really feel it. I mean, I'm all about the fairy tale. I'm all about marriage. But, some people are like, God, we got to make it work. We got to make it work. And then sometimes it's like, you know what? I don't really like you. And then you just can't help but just love them through thick and thin. You're like, you know what? You're kind of a turd. And then you're like, wow, no matter what we go through, I love you more and more every day. So that's true love. It's like, there's no way to predict it. Not to say that it's not important to do the, marriage and go through the motions of that. I mean, I'm legally married. Not to say that my way is the right way. I mean, I'm a bumbling human moron. And I definitely just appreciate everybody's experience of what their own personal truth means. And true love, you can't fail in. Fake love, you're always like, oh God, I hope he still loves me. And then he's like, well, maybe I don't. And then it's like, that's not very authentic. This isn't true love. And if people walk away a failure, you have something to look forward to because somebody's not going to ever see you that way. They're going to love you for who you are. And that's true love. And that's a soul destiny we all hold and carry. It's in our DNA. It's easy to give up because sometimes we invest in things that aren't safe or healthy. But when it comes down to it, you can't fail in true love. Everything else that fails, be glad you're done with it.
Amen.
Amen. Kevin, you got away with that. You just got you got lucky. Okay. All right. So number 5, grateful for the things that we have that we would be upset about not having if we didn't have them anymore.
Yes. I mean, that comes down to anything. I mean, petting my cat. What if that was gone? My ability to do that. I mean, I just think there's so much to be grateful about, even down to the fact that, and even if we lose those things, we have to be grateful for the things that compensate. Because it's like Helen Keller, like you could shut down all these different senses, all these different things that come naturally to just a person genetically. Those things get removed. And what does it do? It enhances other things on a multidimensional level. So, but being grateful about the things that might be ripped away from us is just saying, even if those things were ripped away, I still appreciate the fact that they're there. But if it was removed, I'm going to appreciate the things that are getting illuminated and intensified in the face of losing that, which would be my next post for 2019, which I could have added to the one that you just read. It's like the power of touch, the power of taste, the ability to just feel your snuggly blanket and pillow. And what if all of a sudden that was ripped away? So I just think it's really important to remember what we're grateful for, even though it sounds kind of cliche, like, oh, gratitude to replace a bad attitude. I mean, so when something gets ripped away, though, we need to appreciate the things that make up for it. Because when we're dealing with the creative imagination and the abundance of the universe, there's nothing that we lose without having something to replace it. But if we don't recognize that, we feel very limited and we fall into victim consciousness. But if we can recognize the things that are yanked from us, the things that we lose, can help intensify our expansion into another area that will remind us of something important, then all we know is abundance and beauty and growth and transformation.
What I have found personally, and this is through my own experience, that material things are just fun. That's all they are. They're just fun things. These guitars that are hanging around me, before the bunker, these guitars sat in a garage for years, right? You don't have an attachment to them. If they were in the garage, they were forgotten about. And what I mean by that, in a literal sense, this is what I learned. When Rita and I bought our house, our previous house, we packed up everything in boxes and brought things with us. I'm here to tell you that we left those boxes in the garage and they haven't been opened. And it's been 10 years.
Oh, man.
Right? Those physical attachment to all of these important things. No, we started with a clean slate. And the things that we have in our home, okay, are things that matter, like forks and spoons and a place to sit, but it's not full of material things, right? Because they honestly don't matter. You know what I found out? You know what's valuable to me? Rita and my family, my mom, my dad, all of them, right? All of my moms and dads, and my brothers and sisters, and my children, and my dogs. Those are what are, that's what's important. Friendships, friends.
Oh, man.
Right? That's the bottom line. I can live without these guitars. I don't care. Rita, I can't live without, right? My parents, I can't live, my daughters. That's what's most important to me. And sometimes you got to walk to the edge. You got to go to the edge and take a peek at the darkness before you start to really appreciate what is real.
That is just so beautiful to hear. Wow. I just hope everybody really takes that in and that perspective, because you can't replace the soul connections. And the thing is, we make music with energy, and between our loved ones, we harmonize, we create balance and beauty and harmony. But totally, you're a rock star. So, the guitar thing, I can imagine is really hard to let go of. But the fact that you just said what you did is just even more of a reason to celebrate just what a magnificent being you are. My God.
Well, but it's a lesson learned, Laura. It's a lesson learned, and all of this should go through that. And then you start to appreciate what is around you, and that's why I think number 6 is such an important statement. And then and number 5 about the things that the things that we have, and what is it that would make you most upset that if you lost it, that's what's important to you, and maybe for somebody out there it is a car, but I hope not. And now let's go to number 4. Again, this is just getting heavier, but take it away. Number 4 is we never stop existing. Laura, that's about as powerful as anything that I have ever read that you have put out. But what do you mean? What are you saying here?
Okay, you're cracking me up here. Well, I don't think we ever stop existing beyond the physical. We're on a constant journey, and there's so many aspects to who we are. We're multidimensional beings, right down to the most concrete physical to the most non-physical, and we're learning to integrate these fragmentations where we might identify with this, we might identify with that. But the thing is, it's like no matter what is lost, whether it's something about us or somebody else that we care about, the things that we miss that have passed on, they never stop existing, and neither does our relationship with them. And the things that we feel we may have lost with ourselves, or even if we're up against a crisis that challenges whether or not we're going to be alive, we keep existing. It just never ends. And I'm not saying I'm right about this, but I'm pretty freaking convinced. I mean, it's like, I don't really have belief systems unless it's like, wow, this is getting really, really obvious. And I just want to just give it, some acknowledgement. But my thing when I do any presentation or I say anything is take what resonates and leave the rest. It's like to even act like I have any answers is stupid. But to say, I've experienced this enough to feel confident in saying that this is how I feel, well, I resonate with that more. And I can safely say we never stop existing.
What does awakening feel like? I mean, is it physical? Is it just in the mind? What does it feel like?
It's totally multidimensional and totally difficult. Like when one aspect of ourself wakes up, it starts to stimulate other parts of ourselves that might feel very stubborn, and that might create an internal conflict. We might be advancing ourselves on some level, but there's a part of us that's like, I just can't go there. And when it comes to certain houses or aspects in a person's astrology chart, sometimes it's purely from the people that are in your relationship world or in your community or, where you were, born into. And it's going to take a little bit of extra strength for that person to not identify with it to the point where it creates insecurities and self-worth issues. So if a person is not vibrating at the same level of the people around them, you have one of two choices, really. You're just going to be true to yourself and continue to persevere and thrive, or you're going to let them get the best of you and you're going to fall into a pit of lack of self-worth and feel like, there's something you're missing. And so I think that we all have a responsibility to each other to allow each other's growth, to not project anything, to not assume that the way we live our life is right and everybody else is wrong, but to just appreciate us all unfolding into our sovereign self, knowing that that's the prerequisite to unity consciousness. How the hell can we possibly unify if we expect somebody to be something different than who they are?
Right.
And that's why I go back to the animal kingdom. Can you tell a squirrel to become a dolphin? I mean, that's sort of an a-hole move. And I did not cuss. That's not in the record books because I used acronym.
Okay, well, you're up to number 3 because according to Twitter, turd is it's got a classification. Oh man, you've got a lot of fans out there, Laura. You really do. Now that okay, those are the emotional symptoms. What about the physical symptoms?
Oh my gosh, well, I mean, look at all the diagnoses that people walk around with.
Right.
They don't look at the energy behind it. Energy comes first. Physicality is a reflection of unprocessed energy. If you can't process, then it's going to be something that the physical body signals and says, hey, you need to pay attention. I'll manifest myself in pain or a rash or some sort of, dysfunction. And if we can trace it back to its origins, then we can heal it. If we can heal the energy behind it, then the physical catches up with it and starts to transmute itself. That's what alchemy is, really. And when we look at an astro chart, the 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces, and the planetary ruler is Neptune. The exact opposite is the house of Virgo. It's an earth house, and it's ruled by Mercury, which has a lot to do with our basic lifestyle, the way we feel from a day-to-day basis. You know, are we feeling healthy? What is the quality of the food we eat? Are we sleeping well? And what tools or modalities are we connecting to? Or are we caught up in some sort of conventional approach that is further separating ourselves from nature? And so it's every time we look at an earth house or an earth sign, it determines our connection with nature. But when other forces like the matrix programs get in between it, it can wreak havoc. So what's interesting about the earth houses and signs is that their opposite aspects are very energetic and have to do with water and emotion and multidimensional energy. And so where is that harmed? A lot of times it's when we're shut down, we're not given the opportunity to speak our truth, we're not given permission to express our emotions, and that's going to actually impact our physical body. And what shamans understand is how to work with energy, and they'll tap into the energy and then the physical responds. Whereas conventional medicine is usually just how do we relieve the symptoms? And very much it's a Band-Aid or a mask. And it's just relieving something, but it's not curing it. And so sometimes conventional medicine says, you can't cure this. And I don't believe in that. So back to one of the isms, was it you never stop existing? Or
Yeah. You never stop existing.
Yeah. So life force and inspiration and tapping into the highest realms and dimensions is always there for us. And limitation is ruled by Saturn. We can't get rid of Saturn, but if we can work with the law of structure and have that law of structure through trials and tribulations, because anytime we work with Saturn, it either tests us, it either controls us, but if we can work with Saturn from an authentic place of sovereignty, we can still work with the law of structure and let the law of structure be a container for the expansive multidimensional nature of ourself, so that we can embody like the tree of life, where we have a root system, but we have expanding branches instead of having this dumbed down DNA and this duality of good and evil, good and bad, right and wrong, which, you know, is a part of the greater lessons and growth. But when we overcome, you know, picking sides and we can just integrate it, and it takes a lot of guts to just be able to step out of the mainstream societal programs, but just to be able to step back. The law of structure, which is, you know, Saturn, as far as medical astrology goes, rules teeth and the skeletal system, right? It's a law of structure. It's like the structure of our lives. And it's the things that stand the test of time. That's why Saturn is a really hard thing to change. But it's the planet that moves us from the old paradigm to the new paradigm. And really what the shift is about is taking the lower level of Saturn, which is control, domination, and oppressive agendas that limit our DNA and our capacity to think for ourselves, and it moves it into the higher octave of Saturn, which is master and teacher. So even though it seems really grim as far as what we've dealt with and all these dark cycles of history, which is very much Saturn, which some people say Saturn is Satan, blah, blah, blah. It's about calling your energy back and saying, okay, we can't get rid of Saturn as a planet, even though I've personally been like, yeah, it'd be a really great planet to just fucking blow up. Whoops.
Oh, she did it. Okay, at 8:53. At 8:53. Okay, we've got $100 in the pool. I got to go back and see who won. But there you go. Laura, okay, so let me ask you this, as the Fadernauts will determine the winner of the pool tonight. Do you, as you look at the charts and you're looking at the planets like Saturn, do you ever ignore them and go, you know what, this time I am really going to exercise free will, and I'm going to ignore what the charts are telling me?
Well, okay, so it's sort of an accident that I became an astrologer. I just ended up learning it similar to, it's like you know, sometimes I joke about an accident, like, oh, I accidentally went to the store, and, you know, there's no real accidents, but I ended up getting really well versed in astrology probably 20 years ago. Or actually more, because 20 years ago was like 2000, which is like, doesn't seem like that long ago. But no, I started studying astrology in the early 90s.
Stop right there. And we're going to talk about this when we come back. You mentioned this, and I did read that. The year 2000, it's 20 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts to me. And we're all supposed to be young and fresh, right? You and I, and that was 20 years ago. There are adults walking around right now that were born in the year 2000.
Totally tripped out thinking about that.
Oh, man. Okay, continue. I mean,
Well, I mean, going beyond like 2000, since the early 90s, like the last like 4 decades, I've been studying astrology, and it's very interesting because it depends on your approach and it depends who you are. And then there's the larger picture as far as all these different alignments and these things that are, potentially going to play out. I always see things from the perspective of it's like a map. You can look at a physical map and be like, okay, it shows swamp areas, it shows mountains, it shows trails, it shows roads, it shows highways. And we still get to decide, what road we want to go down. But the more we know what's available to us, the more we can really tap into the decisions we want to make. So every chart is kind of like a roadmap. And I see it as a potential to breaking free of the influences of the planets to let that roadmap guide a person into neutrality, but not numbness neutrality, but more neutrality where one can be an observer, not at the mercy of whatever goes on in like world news and this is why, I say we never stop existing. To me, it's almost like synonymous with we never stop observing. And part of where we feel the most death is when we attach to a program that isn't in alignment with our true nature. And we have to go through some death cycle to shed that skin. And that's where we get in touch with a harshness of reality that is almost a stepping stone to the trueness of where we could go, right? So we're born with amnesia. We have to go through death, rebirth cycles and breakdowns to have a breakthrough, which is Uranus. So there's 3 outer planets, Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. Neptune has to do with the quality of our dream energy. And if it's afflicted, very often a person feels haunted by their thought forms or what they've attached themselves to, where, you can see a person really struggling and feeling haunted by their own thoughts, which can be hard to break. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, alchemy, transformation. Uranus is the planet of shock and crisis that leads to a great awakening. These are the 3 outer planets that shape us over the course of time. If we don't have a positive relationship with these planets, sometimes we freak out and give our power away and go on, medication or judge ourselves for, being sort of disassociated or depressed or angry. But those energies are really just a part of the transformational process. It's somebody like over-identifying with a certain phase that hasn't completed itself. But if they over-identify with it, they actually stunt the growth of getting to the other side, which is fine, but there's nothing in society that really holds space for it. It's either, you excel in this and you become this, and there's no like real attention on how can we assist this person in understanding that this is a powerful initiation to help this person be more in touch with who they truly are.
And we got to head towards a break right here. And when we come back, we're going to finish that thought, because when we get into our top 3, this is part of your growth pattern that you are currently going through right now. And I think it's some of the most powerful stuff in all of your Laura-isms. And we're going to do all of that next. This is Fade to Black, our first show of 2018. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and our guest is Laura Eisenhower. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up. Standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com, dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Yes, this is our first show of 2019. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is Laura Eisenhower. At the bottom of the hour, we broke the news that China, the Chang'e 4, has landed on the dark side of the moon, and I'm looking at some of these first images that are popping in. And just like everybody else out there, I'm noticing the same things you are. And one of the comments, Eric just says, how come, NASA never shows stars or lens flares? But remember, on the light side of the moon, the way that the f-stops and the apertures and everything else, they don't allow for, the stars to show up in those images. And these are coming from the dark side of the moon. So maybe that's why you can see stars in these images. But... because Stanley Kubrick didn't like them. That's really good, Wendy. And we're going to be analyzing these images for a long time, and I can't wait to see them all come in. All right, Laura, here we go. Now, these recent... we are in 2019 right now. These top three that are here not only are our top three, but are part of you and what you're going through right now in the most recent stuff, and very, very, very powerful. Now, I am going to go to number 3, and you posted the top 3 all come in from today. Very strange, I know, but this is what you are going through right now. And number 3 is a self-aware person is consistent in their thoughts or has discretion in sharing the things they aren't sure of. I mean, it's like, wow. Okay, now I'm going to hand that off to you.
Oh, geez. I can't believe you're paying attention to this stuff.
I do.
That's really cool. Thanks.
I do.
Well, I mean, it's also me calling myself out, if it applies. It's not something that I just extend to other people without considering it as a part of my own personal growth. It's, I think the things that have a huge basis in truth are the things that we're consistent with. It's very easy to be scattered and confused. And when we look at the astrological wheel, it can show up in any place in our chart. And there's certain planets that are going to invoke that more than others. And I'm not limited to charts, right? I mean, I'd like to consider that I view reality beyond the planetary scope of things. So the war mentality and duality is kind of increasing, and we might see it increase more in 2019. And so when we relate to the world of politics and even debates on social media, we need to kind of check ourselves as individuals, and ask ourselves questions like, do we have to be at the mercy of this? Does this mean we're on a dangerous timeline? Will this breed more despair and hopelessness just because of what we're witnessing, in the outer world? And I think, it can possibly be a reminder of what we need to generate within ourselves. It's like coming across something broken in a city or in a culture, or, and just being like, you know what? I have the willingness to refurbish this and offer an inspiration to regenerate this situation, or to be somebody to restore. But without the agreement, it's just invasive. So we can do all we can do to help. But at a certain point, the gravity of that responsibility, when often it's trashed and attacked and dismissed, because very often a lot of us put out a lot of really loving and healing energy. But we have to be very sensitive to when it's trashed and attacked and dismissed, even if it has nothing to do with them. And it doesn't mean that we comply to it. Maybe we need to just step back and say, well, what context is this in? Oh my God, I think I'm developing a stutter. But, it's what context is this in? Is this because I put something on you? Is it because I'm just expressing my truth? And there's an increase that I've noticed in victim consciousness. And I don't like labels, like white fragility, white privilege. It's like, I can't stand labels. But yet we have to give ourselves labels so people can say, okay, that's what you stand for. So we can't really escape it. But at the same time, there's a lot of duality increasing and a lot of a war mentality increasing and a lot less self-responsibility because certain people are putting out books that are really empowering it. Even though we made huge strides and we have made huge strides, there's certain people putting out books that are saying, well, that's nice and all. Let's like recreate a drama and a conflict that has kind of been sort of resolved. And you just can't like throw that like projection on somebody. So to make a long story short, we are not all a product of dark agendas and mind control. We are destined to collapse and crumble that system. And we do not need to be taken down with it as it crumbles. We need to be the guardians of what it's generating, right? It will go through what it needs to go through, but doesn't mean we have to get swept up in the turmoil that it produces. It doesn't mean we're going to feel happy all the time either. You know, we can't put those expectations on ourselves, but there are certain individuals and groups that they're getting in touch with this for like the first time. And we know this, but people like you've kind of like been aware for so freaking long. And a lot of our colleagues and friends, it's like crazy to think that when people start to get in touch with this information, it increases the duality, or there's sort of AI that is actually dragging them into the worst of timelines. That's very hard to witness, but we're not at the mercy of that. That's not us. If we can admit that that's not us, we can leave breadcrumbs of light, and as well, it doesn't have to be gluten. It's more the glyphosinates, but we can just move forward.
See, words have impact, and words are important, Laura. And the one thing that I try to stress with this audience over and over again is that, you know who I trust? You know, I mean, where I will have immediate trust in somebody is somebody that says, you know, I'm trying to figure this out. Tell me that, but don't say you are wrong and I am right. Because when I hear that, or when I see finger pointing, or I feel that pressure coming off of an individual or a group, I back off. I really, really do, because nobody has all the answers. We are seeking answers. And if you are a seeker and you're trying to figure things out, that's where I put trust in. You know, I feel an immediate bond, but words are powerful. And when you turn around and try to put your influence on people, or finger point, or create divisiveness, I back off. I literally put the car in reverse.
Oh my God, I totally relate to that. I mean, I think mutual love and respect, and just saying, let's all agree to allow each other to experience our journey and not hold each other to whatever programs you're trying to break through, or assume anything about where you're at. I mean, we have enough to just contend with just working on our own stuff.
Right.
I mean, I think the most beautiful thing is just, you know, I don't know. I just noticed that a lot of people are like, they think that they have an authority, like they have it all figured out, but yet, I mean.
Well, there's an energetic impact there, you know, and in a large respect, and you know what? I'll break it down in a very simple way. You go through school, elementary school, and there's always some bully on the yard, right? Some guy that just seems to be controlling things. And you go through high school, and you know what? And then you bump into that person 10 years later. And now you're happy in life, you have a successful career, and you run into this bully who is a rundown, forgotten, you know, that darkness has, you know, that tormented coal inside has enveloped them. And they're not the president of a corporation dominating everything. They're unemployed and an alcoholic. You know, and you're just like, wait a minute, didn't you run the playground? Weren't you the bully that had all the answers and that made everybody else seem less significant because you were, well, you know what? That is how life works. you know, and if you want to be a leader and you want to have friends and impact and everything, you know what? Question everything. That's what you do, you know, and be an individual. And that's it. And that's the best way that I can put it.
That's so beautiful. And it's also like anybody that intimidates you is just reminding you of your own self-doubt.
That's right.
That should invite you into discovering yourself more and being able to say, you know what? You can't bully me. You can't steal from me.
No, you can't.
It's not power. It's not true power. It might be obnoxious power, but true power is, you know, if we can't take adversity and let it nudge us in the right direction, then we'll always be victims. I appreciate the fact that there are real victims. I don't ever want to negate their story. But at the end of the day, we can leverage our victim stories and let it be fuel to like an unbelievable sense of empowerment.
Does all of this, including yourself, as you go through this awakening and enlightenment, as you go through this, if you're an empath or if you have those traits, do those amplify? Do those get heightened?
Well, it's very difficult for an empath to differentiate their energy with the energy they pick up on. So I give readings all the time to empaths, and I'm an empath, and it's just like crazy, right? It's like, you know, you can feel something and it can completely compromise your health, but it's not even yours, you know? And that sensitivity is so beautiful. It's such a great virtue, but there's other areas of our chakra system or energy centers and even DNA that can handle it in a different way. And as much as I'm on a path to integrate that and be aware of it, when I read charts, it's like, what's really cool is it's very factual. It's like everybody has the potential of being completely aware of their avatar consciousness or higher strand DNA. You know, like when you see a chart, you're seeing things that are so beyond the limitation of what their reality is. So you can see almost like this little prison and all this other stuff that's in the chart because it's trying to get in there. And some people identify with that and can't be grounded. Other people are way too connected to reality and they dismiss it. And then you see all these aspects that say, oh, well, you know, you're having a hard time even accepting this. It's so fascinating. It's crazy. But like, I am very careful about my assumptions about it or the way I share that information. To me, it's the most sacred thing. And all I can do is say, I've been given the privilege, you know, to look at this person's chart or work with their cards, and I will only do it, or anything I express has to be in the highest good of them and the collective. Anything else, I don't want anything to do with. I just take it as a huge responsibility and a very sacred thing, you know, for somebody to be like, oh, I don't know you. And yeah, okay, I saw you in this video and saw you at this conference, and I'm going to give you my chart information and have you interpret it. That's like a huge responsibility to me. And it's like their sacred space. And every time I'm granted that access, I don't take it lightly.
No, and you can't. And you know what I find really funny with all of this, and we are talking about the acceptance of others and how to move forward in life. But this is what I find strange. When you have somebody that's an empath or has those traits, and they don't understand how others don't understand them. It's like a breakdown in communication, right? Or they can't, you know, they can't go out in public, or they can't do, you know, people are like me in a public place with my loud voice and always expressing myself, and I can't control myself. I drive empaths crazy. I'm the exact opposite of who they can tolerate, right?
Really?
And, well, if you know you know exactly what I'm saying.
I don't know. You just hold such a truth resonance. I would think any empath under the sun would just be like relieved. I'm pretty empathic, and I'm like, thank God.
And it's how to understand that everybody's just a little bit different in how we communicate and how we understand and how we listen. You know, and if everybody just understood those basic principles, then it's not that somebody's being negative or somebody's being too positive or somebody talks too much or somebody doesn't listen. Somebody's not listening to you. It's just different personalities and different types of people.
It's like, why? Who gives us the right to try and mold somebody else?
Right.
I mean, yes, we might have genetics of being gods and having the 0-point unified field circulating through our system. But at the same time, it's like, so do they.
So do they.
So we need to, can't we just offer each other the respect of being like, you know, I just want to encourage you being in your full embodiment of whatever your truth is. I mean,
you know, and some people are just introverts, right? They're not gregarious. They exist in that world, and that's where they're comfortable. It's not that they don't like you or they don't want to talk. It's they are listening, you know, or the opposite of that, right? Some people talk too much.
If the desert doesn't appreciate that there's rainforests out there, then the ecosystem would crash. And nature's way smarter than us because it can be like, well, there's desert over here, there's rainforest over there. But as humans, we're like, well, if I'm desert, you should be desert too.
Right. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. That is exactly it. Let's, okay. All right. Before we get out of control, I'm going to save number 1 for after the break. So we're going to do number 2 now. That's right. This is the top 10. We're up to number 2. And this is about as strong as it gets. Your truth is yours. And so are the experiences that are real to you. Laura, I know it's heavy.
That's a huge one for me.
It is. I mean, it's huge.
I don't know how anybody could possibly take away somebody else's reality. It's like if something is real to you and somebody comes along and says, that's delusional, that's bullshit. It's like, great, you could think that, but you don't tell that person. What difference does it make in your life to take that away from them? And who are you to even decide? It's like, I think, so my stance is, and I'm not saying like, oh, I have it all figured out. I don't. But one thing that I have adopted is everything is real. Everything is possible. Why have fixed beliefs? Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
To me, the most dangerous thing is adopting something that isn't in resonance with your soul to the point that it will hurt you and damage you. Like a toxic relationship or a belief system that, you know, takes away your truth. But falsities are truth. They create real symptoms and real obstacles. So what I feel that I advocate for is, can we just appreciate and respect each other's differences and create harmony in that? And if we can, then the splinters that aren't meant to be there will be discarded instead of, like that insecurity, like, oh no, I have to stand by it because it's my only identity, blah, 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 blah. It's like, how about we just be ourselves? If we're angry, we're angry. If we're sad, we're sad. If we're dealing with physical stuff, we're dealing with physical stuff. But if we can be transparent, we're not going to act it out and have sub-personalities that become schmucks or narcissists or, overly insecure people. Let's just all have an agreement to be real, because that's going to create balance instead of denial or this is what it means to be enlightened,
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the thing is, and you said something very profound. Anything is possible. I did I did a little rant last month on the show, and I was very serious in what I said. In that, anything is possible. Everything is possible. It just hasn't happened yet, and that is it.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. I love it.
It is. It's true too. And if somebody tells you that nothing, that something is impossible, then they don't understand physics. They don't understand the universe. They don't understand numbers. They don't understand creativeness or imagination, because Everything is possible, and I don't care what it is, And so when somebody, yes, and when somebody tells you that your experiences aren't real, that it didn't happen, that run, don't walk.
Oh my gosh. So thankful for you saying that. Who has that right or authority over somebody's soul to say this is real or it isn't real? Pretty much everything's real under the sun. The point is, does it resonate? Does it help you to be more of who you are, or does it, link you into more of a control agenda? So yeah, the control agendas might represent falsity, but it's still real. It's still part of what we're contending with. If we can say to ourselves, this is taking away from me and I'm not submitting to it, we can align with things that nourish us. And there's no shortage of it, Do you have a pen on your desk next to the laptop right now? Well, do you have a pen? Yeah. Okay, take that pen and knock it off the desk onto the floor. I want to hear it. Just take it, knock it onto the floor. Okay, and I might stain myself. Okay, do it anyway. All right. Okay. It's a green marker. Did it hit the floor? Well, the cap didn't come off. Okay. Well, the point that I'm making is, did it reverse course and then land back on the desk? No. But it's possible that it can. And one day in the future, somebody, maybe even you, will knock a pen off their desk, and the laws of the universe are going to change at that moment, and atoms and gravity and everything else are going to go backwards. And for somebody to say that that's impossible for Laura's pen to reverse direction and then land back up on the desk is wrong, because it is possible. It just hasn't happened yet. And it may only happen once, but it will happen. Not that it's possible. It will. I know. Even the concept of, is it possible? It's like, what sort of limited reality are you in? Right. Exactly. That's exactly it. So when you say the truth is yours and so are the experiences that are real to you, don't let anybody out there, and I'm speaking to everybody listening to me right now, don't let anybody ever tell you that your experiences aren't real. That's it. That is a basic law of the universe. Everything is possible. It just hasn't happened yet. I can't believe you noticed that I wrote that. Well, it means so much to me. It's like, it's offensive otherwise. And when people submit to it, then they start to think that they're going crazy. And that's the meanest thing you can do to anybody, is to tell them that their reality is delusional and label them. That is like a huge insult. And that is why all the advanced kids coming into this world aren't able to do, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's I do. We should be their guardians. We should protect them and help them to express themselves. When we limit them to this freaking other stuff, we'd have no Adrian. I don't want to be redundant, but come on. It's like, it's so painful to witness. We would have no Adrian Ballou or Eddie Van Halen. God, I love Adrian Ballou. We got to take a break right here. Our guest tonight is Laura Eisenhower. Yes, that is 5 bombs that she dropped tonight. We're up to number 5. Hopefully we'll get to number 6. And when we get back after the break, we're going to do the number 1 Lauraism. It's Fade to Black, our first show of 2019. I'll be right back.
You are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter. But
hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our first show of 2019. Our guest tonight, Laura Eisenhower. And there's proof right there. I do what I say. I just dosed on Life Change Tea. I just did moringa, pine bark, olive leaf, vitamin C, all live on the air. Did the drops. Man, I love my supplements, Laura. It's changed my life. It's so strange. I never took care of myself. And for years, you know, you're young, right? You're invincible. And I figured out that I wasn't. And so I started doing supplements, and the right ones. And I can't believe how great I feel. And yeah.
That's amazing. I feel like I'm watching a documentary in front of me of myself, like totally. Like I'm in my mid 40s. I'm really appreciating the Chinese medicine, all these different supplements. And I was feeling pretty invincible for all my party years. And yes, Adrian Bloom was a huge part of it. And it wasn't like cheesy and horrible like some of the other experiences. But yeah, no, I totally hear you. I have a feeling that we graduated around the same time of the BS meter world.
Yes. And when I made that transformation, and I've talked about this on the air, it was a gradual thing, right? And I think that when people hear others and myself and speak about it, that they expect, everybody wants everything immediate. You know, they want their Amazon packages delivered the next day. I get that. But when you go through this and you take the negativity out of your life, or some negative friends, or the negative baggage, and you go through, and your health, and you make these changes, and then 6 months later, then you look back and you go, wow, this is me today. That was me 6 months ago. So you will see the changes. And you can change your future. You can do it.
Totally. I think that's the crux of like what this show is about. At the very beginning of the new year, we are needing to be held accountable to our creative energy, especially when it shows up in a way that's less than desirable. I mean, isn't it the perfect moment to step back and be willing to alter it? Not in an idealistic new age BS agenda like falsity, but
for real.
Our life is the canvas.
Yes.
Our health symptoms, the quality of our life. If we feel like we're worth making enough to support ourselves, the hardest part right now is the fact that we're interfacing with really dark agendas that want to play on our insecurities and need for self-worth. And a lot of times the programming is that it's going to come through money, but it's very obvious, at least to those that have been in this field for a while, like you and me, that this is not a moneymaker. It's a labor of love. And regardless of if anybody knows that, it doesn't matter. Nobody's trying to prove anything to anybody. We can only do what we're going to do in the hopes that people will find a place of identification within their self. But what's crazy about this next year, especially after, there was this heightened window period between 2000 and 2017, and now we're in 2019, and it still feels sort of primitive. There's a lot of duality, a lot of suffering, a lot of confusion. I just encourage people to step back, take a deep breath, and be like, that doesn't mean that it's you, but as long as you entangle yourself in it, it's a part of you that is begging to emerge. And, give yourself the time of day to know that you can, but don't blame everybody. I mean, even if they represent aspects of it, you can hold them accountable only to a certain degree until it doesn't make any sense anymore. And it's kind of like rude and mean. It's like, I would love to just be a jerk to every man just because I had a bad experience with men. It's like, I'm sorry, I just can't do that. And to the point where I'm advocating for the rights of men being completely shafted and thrown under the bus. It's like, come on. All right. I need to quiet and listen to your next question. I'm sorry.
Isn't that so true, though? Isn't that so true? And look, Rita read something to me the other day. We were driving to Las Vegas, or coming back from Las Vegas. And she said, and I've got to paraphrase here, but the statement was, if you took somebody and made their life perfect, took away all frustrations, took away all negativity, took away all the negative forces, took away and gave them nothing but bliss, right? Nothing but happiness, it would destroy them. Right? If you think about that for a second, now just how profound of a statement is that? Duality is a necessity For every positive, there's a negative. The universe works that way. This planet works that way, right? Everything works that way. And so you are going to have the negative things in your life, right?
I wish people could let that stir them in the right direction instead of casting blame for the forces that are catalytic to their higher growth.
You win. You win. And it'll keep you young. You know, and the other thing is that those are challenges. And I was told something when I was very, very, very young, and I'm talking in my early teens. And this person in my life said this, and I have lived by it ever since. There are no problems. They are just challenges. That's it. Right?
Oh my gosh, that's so where my world is. Right. It's like challenge. Like, you know, people have a lot of a harder time when they don't have challenges because they take everything for granted. Their buttons aren't being pushed. They're not being stirred into a place of I want to create change.
Right.
They become complacent. So as an astrologer, you know, some of the people that are having the worst time are the ones that have the most harmonious aspects in their chart, whereas the people that are making a difference in the world have like the worst aspects. It's like right on because that's pushing you, you know? So I just had to say that because it's totally resonating with what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. And when that statement, because I was like complaining or I had issues and I had problems or what I thought were problems, this person just sat me down and, you know, listen, dude, there are no problems. They're just challenges. And I'm walking home just like I was hitting the head with a sledgehammer. You know?
The fact that you could admit that you were feeling challenged is such a beautiful thing to say. You know how many people are in denial and they wear masks and they project their bull mingon onto other people? See, I didn't go there. That's not in the category of, wow, she just dropped another bomb.
But that's it, you know, and if everybody just, and when I say everyone, I'm talking about everybody. If everybody just looked at life that way, that's it. There are no problems. You don't have any problems. You've got challenges. Now go out there and kick some butt.
Right. We all have all the reasons in the world to attach to the things that create problems, but we also have all the resources in the world to manifest a different picture and, you know, actually thrive. I mean, how can we look at adversity in a duality way? I mean, that just is so undermining. Why can't we look at it as a reminder, you know, and a catalyst? I mean, I look at chemtrails. It's like, it used to really piss me off. So I know how that feels. But I look at it and I'm like, oh, thanks for reminding me that you're so threatened by our advanced human DNA and where we're all heading that you want to do anything under the sun to destroy it. So thanks for reminding me. And then I just want to ground into the fact that that frequency, that nanotechnology that links us to each other in a really destructive way, due to my pissed offness, it doesn't exist, but I don't have to be a victim to it. I can just allow that pissed offness to turn to laughter. Like, I don't know.
No, that's exactly it. And before we get to number one, think about this. Not you, Laura, the audience. When we're talking about, you know, if you take away all the misery and you take away all the negativity in somebody's life, think of the lottery winners out there whose lives are completely destroyed with all of that money. And you go back to them and go, well, what happened? Well, you know, I live in the same one-bedroom apartment that I had before I won the lottery, right? Well, didn't you, you know, man, I wish I never had that money. It ruined my life. It ruined everything about me, my friendships, my family. Everything is destroyed. Everything is taken apart. Everything, it was just nothing. And that's exactly back to the point, you know, where we put all of this stuff into, you know, money and false idols and possessions, and it ruins us as people. You know, the real goals are, and I know it sounds strange. Look, there's nothing wrong with having going out and buying a nice piece of jewelry and things. If it, you know, makes you happy, well, it's just a possession. But that's not what I'm suggesting here. It's not like you can't have nice things. You can have nice things. But the goals in life, the things that make...
that projection onto each other is the question.
That's it. Yes. Well, let's go to number one then. Number one. I wish I had a band here, but
though, before you go there,
yes.
that you were saying that the thing that is worth more than anything to you is your wife and your family, and that did not go unnoticed. And I'm sure a lot of people are just like, "Holy crap! Thank God that somebody gets it," because you understand. You know, we brought it back around, and you were saying that, but I will never forget like your beautiful words in regards to your wife, your family, and where your heart's really at. And I'm so in alignment with that. That's how I feel about my kids and my fucking oops.
Oh, she got to number 6 at 9:45.
Okay.
Man,
anyway,
do you know how much cash I have to pay out tonight, Laura?
Okay, well, can you send me the bill?
Now, see, and this is the thing.
I'm so sorry. I just it creates a huge problem.
You're passionate. The thing is this, when Rita and I sit around with our beautiful family and have dinner, you know, and you are able to just do that is what life is all about. That's it. And we can just laugh and eat.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, man, it's nothing more beautiful, you know, but then we go and we drive home in our Bentley, and I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
No, it's so funny.
That was tasteless. All right, let's go to number 1. We don't need others to say we are okay to be okay.
I just wrote that recently.
I know you did. I noticed things about you.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, I mean, are we not okay? Do we need somebody else to tell us we're okay? That's a cop-out. That's how I feel.
Why can't we all just understand that that is the most powerful thing probably that you've ever written, but it's also very, very simple.
Oh, thanks. I'm just floored that you even saw that. I was like, maybe I should delete this. Maybe I think too much. Maybe, blah, 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 blah. But I appreciate that you noticed that, and that's number 1 in my isms. I didn't even know that you even had all these isms. I'm like, wow, okay, thanks.
Well, it's
friend. You just like.
Well, let me give you an example of why I think this is so powerful, which goes through this top 10 too as well. Is when I get an email from somebody or I get a phone call and they go, man, have you seen what somebody is saying about you? Are you seeing what somebody is saying about Fade to Black? Are you seeing what is going on? And my answer is no, I don't. And the point is, I don't care. I do my thing. And I give that same advice to everybody else. Dude, don't listen, don't read, just do your thing.
That's advice.
Just do your thing. And I don't need others out there to tell me that they love Fade to Black. I don't need others out there to tell me that they hate Fade to Black because I don't read it. It's okay if you want to say these things. It doesn't matter. But I do my thing. Rita and I are not going to change because people love us or hate us.
Oh my gosh, we have so much in common. I just said that verbatim almost to my husband. I'm like, I'm not here for numbers. I'm actually grateful when people don't like me because that means I don't have to message them back. But that was a total joke.
It's so well said. Well, when somebody says to me, you know what, hey man, or she, it doesn't matter. If you just did this differently, you would have more subscribers on YouTube.
Oh,
if you right?
Really? It's like
what you think my goal here is to be a YouTube superstar? If that was the case, I wouldn't do a ton of things. I would do no. It's just us.
We are in the same soul family then, because I'm like, what's so funny is we've been in this field for a while, right? And it's pretty clear. I mean, I've known you for a long time. And I don't even read into it like I'm trying to figure out anybody else. But I'm just sitting here like, you know what? Quality, quantity. I prefer quality. But I'm used to having no friends. I'm just used to being true to myself. I can't even believe I'm not ruled by that. And sometimes when I am insulted and somebody doesn't want to be my friend, I feel more reinforced in my truth. I'm like, awesome. Take care. Have a nice life.
That's it. That's it. But that's exactly, see, the thing is, Laura, is that you have always, and there's no way you're at the age now where you're not going to change. You're going to evolve, but you're not going to react to others. You're just not going to do that.
I've reacted in the past. I did recently, but let's not go there. But no, I know you know me in the larger picture. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but that's exactly it, right? And if you live by your morals and your compass, and that is what you show everybody else, then they understand that they can do the same thing. That they should just look at themselves and be honest with yourself. Don't worry about external pressures. Unfortunately, social media has allowed people to exert negativity on individuals, and people are reacting to it.
Right. It's like, I can say this, and therefore that will influence your opinion about this person. And the only reason I would react to that is like, I'm not representing myself. It has nothing to do with me, but there's something that I feel really passionate about that I just hope we can all agree upon so that we can evolve and grow together. And when it becomes personal, it's like, okay, cool. It's like, whatever, but.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? In that, and there are certain individuals out there, I'm not even talking about this community, I'm talking about my own family members or friends that I've known since I was a kid, right? That I see their post, and I know that they would never walk into somebody's house as a guest for dinner and say those things. But yet they will do it on social media. It's like, wait, what's the difference? You need to treat social media the same as, you're not going to walk down the street and yell these things at people. You would never do that, but yet you have the security of hiding behind a screen and a keyboard, so that makes it okay.
It just seems like a lot of people throw their internal process on other people so that they can't be held accountable. And doesn't mean that there isn't outside influences that are corrupt and wrong. But I mean, unless we can build boundaries, unless we can really understand how we operate and feel some level of self-esteem, even if it's not false, but like appreciation towards what you're passionate about. I mean, okay, so on a surface level, no, I don't have a lot of self-esteem. I'm not like, oh my God, let me just like feature this latest thing in the fall collection of Jacqueline Smith. It's like, no, but I do have a feeling of appreciation towards certain things about the way I think and the way it relates to other people, which is, I don't want anybody to suffer over who they are, or have to apologize for it. It's like, how can we possibly function without appreciating each other? And so we all have experienced stories where it's like, oh, we're going to shut you down and shut you up. And then, people like Jimmy Church that has a radio show is just like, screw you, ain't going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm all about that too. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. But there might be a remnant that gets triggered when, there's attackers and bullies and this and that. But it's almost like they're really like crying out, and it's like, it doesn't really affect us. So I don't want to go off too much, but all I can say is we've been at this for a while. Have we not?
Yes.
Have we not been at this for a while? And like getting caught up in people's entanglement of how it affects them personally. I mean, a new book was written called White Fragility. And it's basically turned every white person into a racist. And I got attacked recently for it. Mm-hmm. I posted, I don't know, on my, I would have changed the name if I didn't realize that it would catch on. I was just like, the feminine and the masculine needs to come into balance. So, mm-hmm. So I posted something that was predominantly like too many white women, right? Whoops. But I had no idea that I was going to be ransacked and freaking like shamed. And then I was like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, first of all, I have kind of an afro. Not that that makes it better. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It's like, it's foreign to me. I don't understand it. So I have this delusion that I have to admit to anybody who's listening that things are progressing. But when it comes down to it, like, I'm getting more attacked, and I see my friends and people like you and like other people that are putting truth out there getting more attacked. It's like there are people that are being stimulated to create certain movements that are pretty outdated. Because when we look at it, those movements, even previous to the movements they're trying to create, don't have a lot of validity because we weren't born racist. So they're like, if you're white, you're racist. Boom, bottom line. If you don't submit and feel guilty, then it's even like a worse stigma to carry. And guess what? This is how I feel about a lot of BS in the world. I will not submit to anybody's program. If I truly believe that I'm not racist, I'm not going to comply because somebody else's victim mentality is going to overtake me.
You know what's even, you know,
I'm hate me for it. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm going to take it one step further. And this is where it gets really dark, is that anybody inside of the United States, and I'm talking about or Great Britain or Spain, you know, or Russia, you know, anybody that is born into a country with privilege can't say anything about anybody else. I don't care what your background is, because go to a third world, desolate, backwards place where nobody has an opportunity to do anything with their lives. They have to wake up every day and go dig in a garbage dump for dinner. And they're not going to go to college. They don't have health care. They don't have an education. They don't have anything. They don't have electricity. And you want to turn around and talk smack in this country against somebody else? Then go dig in a garbage dump. And see what that is like, because that you are being racist. So just stop it. And that is where I come from with all of this. So there is no.
Yeah. Oh, keep going. Sorry.
But there was no reason in this country to complain about somebody else or about somebody else's privilege or about anything else, because as long as you are inside of the United States or other progressive, you know, first world countries, you can't say anything. And I don't even care about your background. You may come from another country that is third world and live in the United States, and you may say, well, okay. No, that doesn't make it okay. You are still here, and you have access to everything. So don't waste your energy about attacking other people or saying that you're right or wrong.
Thank you. Oh, okay, because, you know, then I'm like, you know, trying to take self-responsibility. It's like, I was on food stamps, I was on welfare, and I had to raise 2 kids, and people are like, oh, you're an Eisenhower, you must have had a trust fund. It's like, of course, I get that. I'm not in judgment of it. Like, okay, well, let me set the record straight. It's not because I wasn't close to my family. It's because everybody had to work real hard, and nobody was going to give anybody a freebie. Oh, but sure, I probably had more privileges because I was white in this world, but if I'm like living a life that's dedicated to social justice and racial equality, why do I have to like deal with a mob scene of people coming after me because I posted too many white women in some classic art thing on a page that I run? And
yeah, nobody cares. Don't you worry about anything, Laura. Just always be yourself, and that's why you were our first guest in 2019. Thank you so much. I've got to get out of here. We rode up to the credits.
The last one? Did we complete the whole thing?
Yeah, that was number 1. As a matter of fact, stay right there. I've got to run credits. I got to get out of here. We're going to be off the network here in a minute. So just let me say thank you to Laura.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Laura Eisenhower. Her website is simple. It's cosmicgaia.org. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. All right, tomorrow night is another Fader night. Teresa Yannaris is going to be here, followed by open lines all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night, I want everybody to be safe. Go back, Lee Tepe. Say goodnight, Laura. Say goodnight to everybody. Oh, she's gone. It's Fade to Black. See you guys tomorrow night.